Hello, you are welcome to this class. My name is Dr. Kingsley. In this class, I'll be taking you on classification of alkanols. That is how to classify alkanols. Now, alkanols can be classified in terms of, number A, we can classify alkanols in terms of number of hydroxyl group. So we can classify alkanols in terms of the number of hydroxyl group present. In terms of the number of hydroxyl group present, alkanols can be classified into monohydric alkanols. Monohydric alkanols. Monohydric alkanols are alkanols with what? With only one hydroxyl group present. You have example CH3, CH2, CH2, OH. This is a propanol. You see, it has only one OH that is present. Then we have number 2, which is a dihydric alkanols. Dihydric alkanols has 2 OH. So they have what? They have 2 hydroxyl group present. Example CH2, OH and OH. The name is 1812 diol. 1812 diol is called glycol. Glycol is an example of a dihydric alcohol. Alright. So number 3, we have trihydric. Trihydric alkanols. Trihydric alkanols, they have 3 hydroxyl group. So there are 3 hydroxyl group present in trihydric alkanols. Example is we have CH2OH, CHOH, then CH2OH. This is propane 1,2,3 triol. Propane 1,2,3 triol is also called glycerol. So glycerol. Then the next is number 4 is you have a polyhydric alkanols. Polyhydric alkanols are those alkanols that have more than 3 hydroxyl group. Anytime an alkanol has more than 3 hydroxyl group, it is polyhydric alkanol. Example is CH2OH. You have a CHOH, you have a CHOH, then you have CH2OH. This is a butane 1,2,3,4. Tetraol. So this is a polyhydric alkanols. If you are enjoying this video, please do subscribe. On classification of monohydric alkanols. Monohydric alkanols are those alkanols that have only one hydroxyl group present. Now, these monohydric alkanols can be classified into three. We have a primary alkanols. Okay, then we have the secondary alkanols. Okay, then we have the tertiary alkanols. So these monohydric alkanols can be classified into three. You have primary alkanols, secondary alkanols, and what tertiary alkanols. What are the primary alkanols? The primary alkanols are those alkanols that the hydroxy group, okay, is attached to a primary carbon. The hydroxy group is bonded to a primary carbon. A primary carbon is a carbon, okay, that is bonded to only one other carbon. Let's say we have CH3, CH2, okay, CH, then H and what? OH. Now this alkanol is a primary alkanol. We can write primary this way. So this is a primary alkanol. Why is it a primary alkanol? Because the hydroxy group is bonded to a primary carbon. This carbon atom is a primary carbon. Why? Because it is bonded to only one other carbon. If you remove this hydrogen and place it well on this carbon, you see that what we'll be having is what? H and H. So this carbon atom that bears the hydroxy group is bonded to only one other carbon. That is primary alkanol. Also, another way you used to know primary alkanol is that the carbon atom that bears the hydroxy group will always have only two hydrogens. The carbon atom bearing the hydroxy group has only two hydrogen, or it is bonded to only one other carbon. Now for secondary alkanols, you have the OH group, that is hydroxy group, bonded to what? A secondary carbon. A secondary carbon atom is a carbon atom that is bonded to two other carbon atoms. It's bonded to two other carbon atoms. So when we have CH3, then we have C. Okay, let me take the graphical. So you have CH, H, you have H, then C, okay, H, then you have C, H, you have H, then H. Here we have OH. Now look at the hydroxy group here. You see that the hydroxy group here is bonded to what? A secondary carbon. Why is this carbon atom a secondary carbon atom? It is a secondary carbon atom because it is bonded to two other what? Carbon. This carbon atom at the center is bonded to this carbon, is bonded to this carbon. That is why it is what? A secondary carbon. So secondary alkanols, the hydroxy group is bonded to a secondary carbon. Now, how do you know a secondary carbon? The carbon that is bonded to two other carbon, or a hydroxy group once is bonded to a carbon that has only one hydrogen, okay, it is a secondary alkanol. How do you recognize them? Secondary alkanol, the carbon bearing the OH has only one hydrogen, or the carbon atom is bonded to what? Two carbon atoms. Then when we come to tertiary alkanols, okay, they have the carbon atom that bears the OH. Okay, the carbon atom that bears the OH is bonded to what? To three other carbon atoms. It becomes what? Tertiary alkanol. Tertiary alkanol, once again, are those alkanol that the carbon atom that bears the OH is attached to three other carbon atoms. That is, that carbon atom that bears the OH has no hydrogen at all. Now let me recap. Primary alkanol, the carbon atom bearing the OH bears two hydrogen, or is attached to only one carbon. Secondary alkanol, the carbon atom that bears the OH has only one hydrogen and is attached to only two carbon. Tertiary alkanols, the carbon atom that bears the OH has no hydrogen and bonded to what? Three other carbon atoms. So I hope with this explanation, you should be able to know when an alkanol is what, primary, secondary, or tertiary. Subscribe, share, okay, and like my videos. Thank you.